only a testament to our special ed, and that's where you guys invest. We have more special ed teachers than any other districts. We invest heavily in that space, and that pays off right there. When you invest heavily, we can keep those caseloads much lighter. We have more SSPs than what many districts our size would have. And again, that's where you see it pay off when you keep those caseloads low. It keeps like its SSP from having to do just paperwork and consulting. SSPs are like speech language pathologists, OTs, PTs. They actually get to work with kids directly versus just consulting and doing paperwork, which is a pretty typical thing in a lot of industries.
I think the important thing to recognize is the team that we have. At high school, we have 3 special ed teachers, and we have 2 school counselors, which is almost unheard of for a school our size, plus the school psychologist, plus the solely the therapist. That's their full time, right? So a lot of times students on IEPs, there's also social emotional disabilities where we have actually there's that. And our staff is, we care about kids, we take care of kids, right? And I think that shows through.
We have activities for them,
Absolutely.
and our student body is caring.
Yeah, and activities for all students, right? And Mark is probably going to show his participation numbers again this year. Awesome. So, kids are involved in stuff, and that supports kids not dropping out of school, gives them purpose. And they want to
Keep their grades up.
when they like being there.
This is hard. I want to gloss over it, and yet I think we've talked about it. Is there any other comments you guys want to make, or any other questions you want to dig into on these topics? Just again, just big things for staff when they get happen. So, that being said, another thing is belonging. You just mentioned it, but belonging is huge. Academically, development on humans all around. You got to have belonging with our activities are so essential. Marco, do you want to talk all about activity worksheet those in your packet?
So one of the things that I want to just draw your attention to, like the last couple of years, like we have been like maxing out with a lot of our activities, and what I mean by that is a school our size, we have a high enough participation that doesn't match like teams or schools that we match population wise. So for an example is we have D team volleyball. Not all schools that we are at the same population rate have D team. And so we've been sitting there the last few years. This year is no different. But what I also want to say, like, there's some activities you might see, like a few numbers drop or a few more numbers increase. But overall, like your participation count overall is increasing. And so I was really proud of that. We are adding trying to add more activities. An example of this opportunities for all is esports. They've been a club for a few years now. Last year was when they really got what I would say truly competitive and participated where they were competing against other schools. It's a really neat thing because one, with accountability, these are kids that before they didn't have a weekly grade check. They didn't have attendance reports. So you're seeing like those kids being held accountable, like
Same standard.
exactly. And so the other thing that we saw too is going to like our kids with special needs or disabilities. There's those kids that are participating in it. You will see a lot of kids that I would say socially or a little socially developmentally slower. Yeah, that's a better way to say it. And now they have a place to be social. It's a different deal. Like their interactions are like it's a lot different than like being on the basketball court and you're actually having to talk and communicate they are talking and they are communicating, but it's allowing them to develop that
Gives them
skill.
the courage to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, when I was first hired, I remember that, hey, get kids out, and that's been happening.
That's what you do.
So,
Question on participation numbers.
Not on participation, but we.
Okay.
I just have two questions. One, with the hourly coaching positions.
yes,
Are people taking advantage of that, and how has that been easy to roll out amongst the different programs?
so, I would say yes and no, like, when it took some time for us to figure out how exactly we do this, like, for instance, we had to create like a job posting. And what we did, we created one where it's just a general, nothing specific to like one particular team. Hey, hourly coaches. That way, if there's a need, someone can, we can go and fill the position as needed. And then also we're not having to wait until like first, I'll just say like basketball, when basketball gets here, all of a sudden we have 60 kids out there and we need another coach. I don't have to get this posted on the job board. It's already been posted. And so we can immediately hire, like for, let's say there's someone that's been volunteering for a couple of years. We can hire them for that position.
So there's just a general posting all the time, or Salida has the hourly coaching position available. Perfect. Awesome.
Well, that's sports on drum is when we have a hourly position there.
And then my second question is just around the athletic training.
Yes.
So I feel like we approved that, we wanted it, and all of a sudden the hospital gave us one. And my question is related to who has created that job description, who's that person reporting to, how's it going? And like I've heard comments from kids that we can't get to see the athletic trainer, the list is long, I'm supposed to come back in 2 weeks. And I've heard athletes complaining that there's a lot of non-athletes utilizing the trainer's time. So I don't know if any of these things are true.
I was
So I
saying,
just wanted to know, how is it really go?
so one at this current time, she still has other schools coverage. I forgot the date, but at some point during this school year, she might be in Salida all the time. But currently, she is having to cut back Salida somewhere else. So we are semi-limited to when she can be there. As far as like non-athletes using, I haven't heard about that. But so far, what I've seen, she's actually done a good job. She's actually kind of raised the standards a little bit in the past with the situation we had. Yeah, when I say this, I'm not knocking up these people. They really didn't want like first our physical forms. All we needed was a 4th page in the past. She wants it all so she can like be aware of like, okay, hey, 2 years ago, this kid had a broken leg, this day showed something like that. That way she knows if something happens, oh, this kid has done this bad, had this situation before. So we need to be cautious about the way we treat an injury or things like that. So, yeah, I've been pretty impressed with it.
But I've talked to their coaches the first time they've seen a trainer, some of the vaccines and stuff, so I think we're getting more coverage. And to go back to the systematic question you also asked, so there's, I think we're in much better shape than we have been in for years. Probably still learning, growing as we delve into this, but I appreciate the hospital stepping in. CEO John Tucker, thank you. I wasn't gonna get it right. He has stepped in, has met with us directly. When we expressed needs, he came right in and said, let's take care of that. And so I appreciate the hospital. We did not have that experience for a long time. So kudos to them for stepping up. So right after you guys approved that, we met with the board, chair of the board, and Mr. Tucker, and they said, let's make that happen, and they made it happen. So there's still some coverage, but for the most part, you know, that play training dedicated us. I think what it's going to allow us to do as we settle into that is now start to work on training coaches and some of the other aspects of an athletic training. athletic trainer's job, typically now they have to have a master's degree, the way the programming's gone. They can do more than tape ankles. That's not their top of their training. And so how do we get them into the top of their training, utilize what they've really gone to school for, helping our coaches understand things. So I think we're in much better shape than 6 months ago.
Maybe if you hear of logistical challenges with the trainer, just communicate the message to Marco Live so we can address it. Because like, if that's what students are feeling right now, we want to address that issue. And it might be that logistical piece with her being shared right now. Like I read,
Two kids have that problem and then they say.
yeah. But you know, that's exactly.
Yeah.
If, encourage them to come to us if they're struggling, so we can get them support.
Each day that she's there, I see her calling and
I'm going to tell you, coach, real quick too. My kids have actually had way better coverage, including I had one case probably hopefully a week early because he got immediate treatment after an injury, and so he's going to be back in action a week before normal, I think. And I would say even though we have short coverage, we are getting 5 days a week for the most part. When she sends out her schedule, it's usually 4 days that she's in here, and even if she's covering Cotopaxi for a game, like there was a week where we had football on TV and we had a trainer that is up there anyways for that game. So we are having an athletic trainer at our events 5 days a week still, even though there's some shared coverage. So I would say I would agree. My kids have thought it's been way improved. I've had a few kids who tell me, "Oh, I couldn't get in to see a trainer," but when you dig deeper, they would come try to see the trainer. And it's not. There could be other logistics, but I have to. That's been much.
It's a good.
Anything else?
No, I think we had a great start to the year and kudos to everybody.
Or any questions, comments, or leadership while they're with us? Okay, we'll take our usual 5-minute break. You're welcome to stay. If not, enjoy your evening. Thank you for coming.
Dude's hurt.
No.
Yeah. Come on. Oh, you can make. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. Walks away. It's all spread in one place. And they got to it on the right. I figured what we needed. You know, more.
Yeah.
She did. Someday I'm only not gonna come in and see. Someday you're gonna say you're just gonna talk to you. Right. Five.
So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So you?
Questions, comments, clarifiers?
All right, we ready?
Approval?
Sorry, Mr. Christopher. Dr. Representative,
Aye.
Dr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Hawes,
Aye.
Ms. Pascal. Aye. Ms. Sherman. Aye. And Mr. Smith.
Aye. We're breaking records tonight, folks. No discussion items, action items. Need a motion to approve on second reading policies. The various policies listed here looks like they're all Cassie policy updates.
Yeah.
Good motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Let's make sure the dress code should be the same as it was, except for the small changes around graduation and farewell.
You can have your, you can have your special.
Like a lot of changes around graduation and apparel, but it's not changing our dress
Right,
code.
it's just.
People always have an opinion.
Thanks, we do.
The whole community, doesn't matter what year, what day, it's always a topic.
All right. All right, ready for a vote?
All right, Dr. Breckenridge Bennett,
I,
Dr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Hobbs, Mrs. Pascal, Ms. Sherman, and Mr. Smith.
Aye. So I read this one as well. Okay, need a motion to approve school accreditation, all schools, highest levels of performance, district-wide, district of distinction.
Yeah.
Joey, you got to take motion everything.
I give me, I'm going to remove the motion.
Okay.
I give a second.
Sorry, sure.
let Madeline.
Okay.
All right, discussion.
Any discussion, any comments, or any other comments? Awesome job, pretty much everyone.
All right, Dr. Breckenridge Bennett,
I,
Dr. Hill.
Aye.
Mr. Hobbs.
Aye.
Mrs. Pascal. Aye. Ms. Sherman. Aye. And Mr. Smith.
No.
but it's we did then the custodians.
And then you guys from the board, first year we did, 2012, when I came, the middle schools, was the first year they had this particular way of noting schools or evaluating them. You know, our middle school was on a performance plan. So we were right in the middle of those 178 districts for average or below average, depending what year. And so that first year, I mean, we had every elementary kid bum rush the field. We shot off fireworks on F Mountain. I mean, it changed the way the trajectory of our community. Right? And so now everyone like kind of expects it, which is great. But so maybe the poppers were a good idea.
We set a high mark. So those can be enjoyed. Sorry, I'll stop the dollars for it.
Well, and I also think that for principals, because they're kind of a victim of their own success, because it gives us capacity to come up with other good ideas, good idea areas. You know,
That's something.
maybe.
Okay, awesome. Kudos to everybody. I need a motion to improve strategic priorities from our annual retreat. Jen, second. Ben? Any other clarifiers on this?
I have some confusion and some questions. I really appreciate this. I do know this is a lot for David's evaluation. And pardon me, Glenn. I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Really? No, real, you want to, okay.
Yeah.
Right, well, if you're, I have one in each, so technology, the typing curriculum and handwriting curriculum is in the bullseye. I assert that maybe be a little too soon to put that there. We just talked about that very briefly. And before we've even done our technology assessment, and then learning from Savannah that some curriculum is completely online. We can't simply add to the workplace for the teachers. We have to take some things away. I just don't think we're ready yet for that to be in the bullseye. I'm comfortable with it on the second circle or tertiary. See that, David?
I'm with you.
Okay.
Pulling it up so other people can see as well.
I felt that it was kind of like technology plan. Here's the thing. And so I'm not gonna probably accomplish.
No, just a little lower.
But it is in its own separate category.
It's not even highlighted.
Yeah, I mean, so let's just talk about that. I can tell you from a staff perspective, there's a lot of people who would like us to dig into that, get clarity around that space. It is connected to technology. I think it's helpful for the board just to take what Jody's articulated, say, get your vision and philosophy around technology in place. And don't rush and give people time to talk about maybe a typing curriculum or handwriting curriculum. And maybe that takes 24 months to implement. I'm not going to recommend to you to take longer than 24 months to address and either answer that question one way or the other, but I can see why you might take 24 months rather than 12 months or 6 months.
I'd really like to learn from Longfellow mostly, right? Not necessarily, though not necessarily, this one, typing curriculum, all of us. I just think it's a little premature and not as important, or, you know, not to dismiss anybody, as the infrastructure rebuild and the tech vision plan.
We thought to kind of move it down just to show it.
What do you think?
It was more, so April and I are working on that and researching the handwriting and typing. And it's more of a developmental thing for kids, than anything else. So it's not necessarily for teachers to do something extra, but it's to help with the kids' development, and the way that their brain triggers moving forward into their education.
Okay, this is the question I asked David,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna ask you, do you have capacity for that,
For,
leading that?
I think doing the research and figuring out what, I mean, that's kind of April's specialty too, so we can compile all of the information and we can present it to you and then we can, I don't know what that looks like after that, but for us, it's something April's excited about, so I
Okay,
guess,
so
yes.
okay, as long as you support it, then I'm fine. Okay, let's go to facilities.
Please pause.
Wait,
No.
can I say,
I'm sorry.
since we're on the technology that has, you know, like the CMC cert and stuff,
Thanks.
do we have any idea of the pace of what they're thinking for their technology program? Because that will definitely inform our high school.
So right now I'm queued up, and so Mr. Parents and I spoke, and we started meeting with some of their donors and other vision people around that space. It's a building that's sold, that's what it's targeted for, so I think the time is right. I think all this technology plan vision, I think as a community, we have to kind of help say, we're gonna have this ready by March and not be surprised. You go, okay, March, now we have a better sense that it's gonna take another 18 months or another 12 months. But I don't think as leaders, we have the freedom to just say, oh, take 24 months. I think what you'll find is that it doesn't get anything happening until you get 12 to 18 months into that 24. And so I think CMC needs clarity from us that we want to talk about this, not in a couple of years, but we need to talk today about how our kids are going to tackle things like AI is on here, and that's an easy one to pick on, but bigger topics from quantum capacity and bigger stuff. I think we need to start into that conversation. So we may not get it all done, but I'm gonna recommend we pushing our partner to say, what happens when our kids leave? Like, what's that?
Yeah, I struggle to think we're gonna get that done this year, like all the technical stuff. But I think the biggest thing in the outer system is something.
I'm just because I don't know how you do it with AI as an example, big, talking point right now, without talking about all the other stuff. Joe, did that show?
I don't know, I wasn't listening.
Are you outer system still, or are you okay with it?
I like exactly what you,
Okay.
and I just, that Savannah said April's on fire for it, and she has capacity, we're just not beating them down, that's what we gotta work.
It is, staff have kind of recommended this, and so that's why I had it in the center. It's kind of their perspective. And maybe either we come towards January and say, oh, we're gonna start to slow roll this, but I want to represent what I heard. I also highlighted this technology plan vision, those two blue, I didn't know how to do it, just as a graphical way, because those are two community listening kind of points. Like those aren't just staff, the board, like those aren't just staff, the board to staff, or some sort of situation like that. That's listening sessions where the board is trying to do public events sort of thing. However, we try and structure those. That's why I try to both of those pieces inside the side.
Okay.
Well, and along those lines, I mean, I really think that the reason that the phone ban was so successful is because we had a ton of community engagement. And the parents were clearly at and telling their kids, you better not be on your phone. I just couldn't get that. You're gonna be in trouble. And I think that's why. So I agree with those big things, getting community engagement.
So technology, I think we're,
Right, and I just need to remember, I need us to remember that this is a board document with board priorities. Right,
So we,
Right, the staff is driving this, I appreciate it, but
it's fine.
you wanna do facilities next? It's ambitious. And then recreation vision, I think we've got our ducks in a row, and I believe that we are moving it interestingly at a faster pace than our partners. But the Oak Street final phase and home and field, and then the recreation vision are all the same. I don't think it's representative of the recreation vision to be right in the middle.
Okay.
Because of our partners' cases, and it's so big. And I don't know what we can do to go any faster. And maybe we can move that out in terms of your Sisyphean work.
I think that is an important question, because do you want me to have community listening sessions and
What?
develop those with parents and stakeholders? And no, that's is a good question.
So if you could do the non-highlighted, that's an extraordinary year on facilities. I mean, an unbelievable. How about Herculean effort? There you go. So I would mildly request that be moved out. Is there any violence against that? Maybe
I mean, it was just, we were informed last month, I think, formally, and it's just the desire for lacrosse to have a club program. Where are they gonna be? I don't know.
Right.
The community's going through conversations with various different things from, this election, to just future conversations with development of this property and all the South Florida, all the things that are going. So I just feel like I don't see it being something that's a task that's gonna really get solved, especially if we might be pulling partners. But I don't think delaying the conversation is us any good.
I'm not saying delay it, I just recognize that we're in a holding pattern. And we could only move as fast as our partner. I assert that home and field,
It all falls together.
I know that's what I have,
All
but
that area falls together.
Oak Street in final phase, home and field can't move forward until they have land acquisition and a recreational vision for our community. And so if those are out there, that's parallel. This is about David and his leadership team's efforts. I will prioritize the non-blue highlighted facilities. That's a lot. Over Oak Street phase, final phase, because we can't do anything, so our partners are there. Home and field, ditto, and recreation vision. I feel that this is very symbolic of where you need to put your shoulder down. What do you guys think?
As we start to check the boxes of the inner ones, we can move that one back in.
January. At the January grind, we'll just get a mid, that's when we do his evaluation anyway, and I assert that's where he needs to be spending his time. Because the other ones, I know we want to pull. But at some point, we gotta say, it's beating up our superintendent, and we just need to say, okay, let's do that work at the second circle level. But really lean your shoulder into all of that. Resurfacing the track and the stadium restrooms, that would be a full-time job. Just trying to get that up and running. Fish. Well, maybe do more of those things. This is a visual of where we want to put David's hours. And I believe that we need to move out recreation vision. We're leaving out a lot of stuff. No?
Doesn't hurt, but
Others?
I'm okay.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah. This is the
I
discussion.
guess
we
I
need.
don't know exactly what you're meaning with recreation vision, like, is this including facility use? And because we did all of that last year, right? Went through all those facility use policies and kind of, did we redo the fee structure?
We kept it the same. I didn't have this on here as original recommendation when we set up our priorities. You guys kind of said, no, we need to lead our community a little further on. And this is just a title I made up. around this land issue and the recreational needs and how we're gonna do that as a shared community. That's why I put it in there, because I thought I was trying to hear what I heard you say.
I mean, I feel like if it stays in the inner circle, we can only still progress with it as fast as the community is progressing. So I guess I don't see it as a huge time suck because I feel like you're investing in it as you can. But even, I mean, another consideration is like coming up on selling Hesner and then using this field potentially, like we really do have to get field space or even for our own sports programs. Not even rec, we're not gonna have. So, I mean, to me, it kind of feels like the land acquisition is the biggest piece, right? And then if that falls in place, then we can work on Holman and then have kind of a broader recreation vision, because if we have that land, then we're kind of partnering also out with the county out there, what else we can do with that. So I guess I kind of see it all working very hand in hand.
Perhaps, a visual, David, you know, how every technology plan, you have your sub points.
Yeah,
I think under land acquisition, then you place recreation vision, Oak Street final phase, and home. Those are sub points that go after, you know, once land acquisition happens, and depending on it's 10 or 20 acres, that drives everything. It's more explanatory.
let me ask a question then. I highlighted blue because when I was listening to you as a your retreat, I heard you say that I needed to start to design listening sessions. Like in my mind, like, do I need to fill up the auditorium with all the thousands of users who use our facilities, who seem like lots of our other people aren't really able to hear with clarity? Like, can you set that up, or is this not the time you want me to do that?
I didn't exit the grind with that, with you leading our community on that.
Okay.
Did I miss the boat? Yeah, Matt?
I mean, I would like to see somebody lead that space. And I haven't seen anybody else really that should be doing it. And certainly community uses so much of our facilities and there's a lot of, like Jim said, there's a lot of conversation around here, but I mean, we can't even get this thing with the county on the land done. That's been years. It's an easy deal. So it's a little bit of frustration, I guess, as a resident living here for 10 years, being like, why isn't there a rec center? I mean, this community is incredibly active. And I don't know that David needs to spend a lot of time on it. But it certainly ties into the growth of the school and just how our facilities are bursting at the seams. And I'm a little concerned if the school doesn't take a leadership role in that vision, if you will, that it's just not going to happen.
And that's fair. That's fair, but that's not central to the students.
I am.
He's gonna find a solution here. Keep watching.
I mean, whether it's reframed or in the secondary priorities, I mean, I do think it's a priority. I think it can easily be a secondary priority if we cannot get some first priorities to move. However, that may really push the needle to say, we can't get anything to move on these other things, so let's try to have a bigger conversation, of which I don't know how successful it will be. I can tell you what can really get the conversation going is if we just say, all right, we're gonna use our facilities for our students and our programs, and good luck everybody else. You know, that'll get people talking. That'll get a conversation. So
Will that get the county commissioners talking?
David,
Yes.
is that feasible?
I think there's a key question I have here. I'm going to be involved on some level on like this recreation visions. You know, I just sat down with people with the city, like this is all connected. I think the key question I have for you guys is highlighting, do you want as leaders, elected officials, to lift up and amplify this conversation? thereby telling me to get some stuff scheduled for us where we are listening to all these users. There are, I mean, there's 600 plus people in the battle sport world. There's, I don't know what it is, 400 people in the club and the soccer world. There's probably 100 people. I mean, I just got with John Frisk around hockey, which is not getting solved. I'm running out of words here. Like, do you want me to bring that out so that our community is heard and it amplifies that message? Or do you want me to just work on the staff side and keep on trying to massage people into making things happen? I'm struggling with good
I
words.
mean, what would, like bringing all those people who use our facilities together for a conversation, like what would we be looking?
I'm gonna take what Joe said and try and on top of that. Right now, the city, and their financial space for Parks and Rec, the situation that they're in, with the firehouse, the ways that those interact in their funding, they're having to say, we need to make sure we're charging for everything and be really aggressive trying to get their bills paid. And so, we just scheduled to have a homecoming parade. They've done this before, but they do that, they're gonna charge us, $100 for that. So like, they're doing everything they can to try and figure out how to go through that. We subsidize all of recreation. That's what you do out of your general budget. As an example. I do not recommend, I do not think it is a good idea that we try and nickel and dime each other. I think our community doesn't win. But there's this conversation where I don't think people are aware of how much you subsidize the community.
100%.
So do you want to amplify that so it's a community conversation, or do you want to say, hey, Dave, I need you to keep working on the staff side and trying to find solutions on the staff side? Those are two different levels of effort and management, because if we're trying to amplify it and you're going to bring 600 people into the auditorium, as an example, as a visualization, that's very different than you trying to sit down with Christy Doon, Lance over Poncha, and trying to sit down and have these conversations. Two different efforts on camera.
Joe's the former. I'm the latter. Where do you guys sit?
I mean, I would like to see things happen at some point. And it feels as though the current efforts might never, ever lead to something happening. But it's also maybe a little outside of the scope what you would normally be expected to do. So I think that would be a lot of the David feedback when I get in this situation.
Is he?
It'll hang me out a bit, and I won't know a lot of popularity, but I'm going to do my job and do whatever you guys tell me to do.
Right. What do you, David, the things that are my priority will be impacted in the negative. Trades program, I'm more interested in that.
So maybe we put a pin in this conversation and look at some of the other priorities and.
Let Ben speak.
Yeah,
with Ben's hand.
I think it's a bigger conversation about the philosophy of David's role, of whether he's supposed to be a community organizer or doing more specific things directly for students. I don't have an answer to that. I don't think. I can see it either way, I guess. But I also agree with since things aren't exactly happening the way, at least tons of things are happening, let's say, but like with the land acquisition is rolling on fairly slowly. If we have hope that we're getting somewhere and we're gonna have a game plan, and then that's fine to stay where we're at. But if not, then I think we need to change gears, have a different approach. More of the
I think you can expect, my understanding is, you could expect something from the county on that, but it will not be able to address anything on recreation. It'll put a freeze on those facility options and kind of lock that down so nothing can happen. Is what I'm expecting back this time. I'm listening correctly. We've had more direct conversations in facilities, and Karen's not here now.
I would sum it up as nice as possible, saying what we have today is an IGA, and what we will leave with after they present to us what they want will be effectively an IGA. So I don't think we're going to We can, you don't speak about it.
They, the county?
That's what I understand. I don't know what it looks like. We should, I was told we would see it this weekend.
We still have no idea exactly what they're at for 7 years.
So right. I'm just talking, I just don't want to be, I don't want to be persnickety, but these are the things that were added after the grind. And I need to have a conversation with our peers.
I
What do you-
thought that we left that pretty strongly with David did, like, oh, this is something we want to lean into because we provide the majority of recreational spaces for our community, and even though we subsidize and could change that philosophy, that's difficult because that is our kids, just not, it's, you know, just not under our umbrella, so to speak. So it's not where I want to be spending a whole lot of time because we have a rec department, even though we're not a rec district and things, but we're going to have to because of our facilities, which take care of the community's recreation needs until the city would take that on. We've made leaps and bounds from years past of some of the programming things that we've done. And they take kind of more responsibility on that, but I mean, to me, as the district with the place of all the facilities, we need to lead the conversation of how are we going to manage use, who's paying for what, who's building what, potentially, where it goes.
I do
And I don't disagree with you. But this is not tenable. Everything's in the bullseye.
We always say that, always works, you know.
I guess,
You're not wrong, but David's gonna die.
yeah, I kind of agree with Jody. I mean, I do feel like this falls within David's job description. I feel like our priority is, like Jody said, educating kids. I feel like the land acquisition is our priority because we do know that our facilities are gonna be outgrown, and getting that land for Concha for a school seems like a high priority. And I feel like once we lock in the land, then all this other vision is gonna have to happen. So I guess I would say the priority should be focusing on the land acquisition and not necessarily on having big citywide meetings with all these stakeholders about what they want to do, facilities and fields.
I guess my questions would be, how would focusing on, I feel like you are focusing on that and nothing's happening, so maybe a discussion about what it would take, that is more community engagement to get the ball.
I'm gonna keep on the staff, so I can tell you no matter what, it's just not gonna fall into play. I have to on the staff side, engage all our partners just for what's in place and supporting it and making it successful, so that's there. I think the question is not me, I think the question is you, that you should be focused on. And I understand that I need to set up your event, so to speak, and maybe that's not the right imagery. But I have got to facilitate so that you guys can have those conversations. It's not my conversation. It's really between you and city elected officials, whether it's Asha or Salida or you and county officials. There's an elected officials conversation that is not. I have to facilitate you.
I guess that's how I feel that is. When I met with Commissioner Armstrong, I told him that we were discussing this and trying to bring all the interested parties together to try to set that out for proactive planning, and he was highly interested. I don't have a problem with it's kind of a secondary thing because it is behind the technical stuff. It is behind like the other things, but as many things with our facilities, like that could move in very quickly, could move out very quickly. I mean, things happen throughout the year and it moves up and starts to be discussed. We could maybe address it in the spring. If not, it could fall in next year.
So what I can do is maybe not make this blue as the graphical thing. I'm gonna try something here if I'm listening, try and find a consensus. It needs to be there, but it's not you guys listening to 600 people doing survey work or something of that nature. But there is something over here where I try and put it more narrative level of helping work with other staff to get you with the elected officials to have vision conversation, let's say county commissioners. I would recommend it. I think it's a good idea. I don't think the staff are, I don't think we found the magic sauce. No. So I think there's some value, in you guys all getting together in a room, hammering some stuff out and telling us what to do. That's important.
And I see the target.
It's been. It's a good conversation.
I would be fine with going back to what I mentioned the most. It's really back in. On the outside, sorry, not on the outside, but on the outside. As those are secondary things, but they could very well move forward quickly if we actually did want to have.
You make them smaller. Tomorrow.
I think you should just put
Ben?
resolution in bold in the center and that's it.
Okay, I don't want to get lost in the minutia here. I think, let me just try and make sense, because it is my evaluation, it's you guys setting my expectations. What I hear you saying is, you would like me this year, I hear the majority of you, getting the elected officials together to discuss this vision and saying it's time to move, it's not time to sit anymore. So we can keep that there, so what I'm gonna do is watch this, take it off that one, put it on your list.
Wow. No wonder you get stuff done.
That,
That feels very good to me.
the discussion was more important than the visual. The bond.
I don't know, the visuals seem very important.
We
just
asked to see. Oh, it's very important to me. I lean on this, and then when there's mission creep, I go to David and I say, excuse me, what's,
Yes, man, you do.
yeah, hey, right. So, but the discussion is very important, and now it's kind of how we lead it, and I'm comfortable with that.
Did that look right? Did what all we told that?
I think that's.
Yeah, right. Just we know where we know where we stand. The discussion is great. Operations, I'm not sure that the wellness plan should be a top priority.
I'm gonna defend that one, because
Okay.
I'm gonna be putting it in there. Wellness plan it's operational, it's a staff piece, it's not necessarily a board, I'm gonna have to do this no matter what.
Okay.
Currently, wellness is understood as nutrition in terms of our policy deck, right? Which is not what our community means by wellness or what our staff perceive wellness to be. If I need to get my staff in the same room, I need my nurses in the room, I need my PE teachers, comprehensive health teachers, and I need my nutrition staff in the room to work out some clarity around things. Let's just take, can you give kid a piece of candy as a reward? Right? That is an internal clarification piece that I need to address because people have different perspectives and it's gonna come down to me saying, okay, guys, I've heard everyone. Here is our middle of the road approach and here's where you got what you want.
Don't have any policy.
What's that?
We have no food policy.
We have all kinds of policies. We need to sit down internally and work out some value systems. And some of that may come off back as the policy, but I'm gonna have to sit down and do that whether or not you say I need to or not. Because staff need that.
Okay. Then, well,
But I
then,
don't want you to miss that I'm gonna be doing that. work.
right, that's gonna take some time away from it. Not away, that's.
No, it's an important aspect to many staff, not just one or two.
All right, and then academics, there's a lot in there, but April and Savannah are moving at a really epic speed, and so is it feasible to bring in business? I did not effectively communicate the priority during the grind, so this is my bad. I also think that it involves a big partner. David, what do you think?
I mean, CNC there.
Yeah.
Development Corporation, you say big partner.
You can see
Are you
CNC, yeah,
CNC?
yeah,
As in terms
pathway.
of a,
That pathway has a big gap in it. And the others are moving forward and that one's just,
sure, I'm gonna advocate for no. I want another year before I would do that. Because I'm more interested, if I can get CMC, I want them engaged at the technology certification level. So I'm gonna prioritize that. If I can get their focus on our community, that's where I would choose them.
Right.
In addition, I have so much time has been spent in not accomplishing and getting it finalized, that guaranteed viable curriculum. I'll use that acronym GVC. I want to get that across the finish line. I think we have exhausted staff conversations by not getting that across the finish line. So I don't want anything else to distract from that work. So that's why I would advocate there. I did move the secondary math adoption in because it's not gonna wait. And so if I have to choose between business and math,
No, I don't want you to do that now.
right, then that would be where I would say there's some things in here that, like trades program for me means auto. Just investing in a big innovation.
Right, with,
It seems small, but it's a big deal to have that auto shop teacher shared faculty. I want to make sure that doesn't fall down. It's got to be one and it's got to succeed. There's a lot of people who depend on that in their community. So there's my advocacy for leaving it out another year. And I can totally see why it's an essential gap in our programming, but that's how I'd advocate. I see you shaking your head, Sabina. Anything else when I ask the staff?
which way?
I was just not, taking the same.
No, that's right.
I think that the business curriculum, I don't know exactly what you're talking about when you say business curriculum. But I think when we start going in and adding all of that into Atlas, it'll be really clear as far as next steps that we could do in any given curriculum. So it wouldn't be that we aren't working on what the business department's doing at the high school. I would hope that we have that laid out.
So do we have, I mean, the pathway is written, right? And the class is needed, but we're just having a hard time offering the classes that are in the pathway.
Yeah, our first effort was a success from both teams, kind of CMC or Salida High School's perspective. So we backed away from that and dealt with other things. Yeah, if you guys say make it happen, I'm gonna say it's gonna get in the way of some things. You've been very clear. You want to see improvements in our collaborative time management and that investment of teacher times at the high school. You've been really clear. You want to see improvements in that guaranteed viable curriculum and curriculum expectation at the high school and TSS at the high school. I just feel like you've got good momentum. Get this across the finish line. That's my strong recommendation. And obviously, I do really ask.
You know, I want to prioritize that because obviously
I think you made gains that I don't want you to miss.
I have finding that in the secondary because I think that we got some golden blocks to get to first.
You are now requiring every kid to get personal finance and economics. I got some ideas that I'd like to cook up, but I don't know if the high school is ready in terms of just investing club and some other strategies other teams have used. But I want to make sure we get this across the line first. That's what I'm saying.
Any comments? Anybody passionate about it either way?
I mean, I'm passionate about waiting until we have confidence that there would be an effective leader to guide the students in that direction. I don't personally, I'm not personally sure that is the way that
Let's leave it there.
Thanks.
Do we have to modify the motion? Since we modified the target? I don't,
That's it, we're okay. It's relatively.
the discussion was hard, it's more important part of the newer things that were.
Thank you for the discussion. I have more clarity on what you want me to get work on this year, so I appreciate it. It's helpful.
Any other comments? Priorities. Okay, thank you for that, Debbie. Ready? Ready for it?
All right.
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Ms. Jackson? Aye. And Mr. Smith?
Aye. Very good. Through the action items, so in the board communications and committee reports. Mandy, anything on those?
Well, it was really fun because we got that board meeting this afternoon. So it's the first time I've had two board meetings in one day and two board packets for the same day. So that was great. I mean, nothing, well, I mean, I did want to mention, I mean, I still think BOCES restructuring to have a special ed coordinator at each district clearly has to be part of the reason behind our success, right?
Yeah, it's already added to it.
And I think the other thing is Susan's has a strategic plan and she's always updating it. But one thing that she mentioned is that they're also going to be doing a curriculum review and comparing it to growth scores and sort of specifically looking at comparing the districts on who is closing the gaps the most for our special ed students, which clearly it seems like probably that's Salida. And then trying to kind of duplicate efforts to the other districts. So I think it kind of falls right in line with what Span is doing, that they're also doing kind of a comprehensive curriculum review of SPED.
And it's not a competition, but we did outscore all those districts in the places.
Yeah,
It's not a competition.
they're just lucky to have us. I think that's it, right? There's nothing else. Today's meeting was pretty like, meh. Nothing really.
Thank you. Facilities, I'll just say, and we're trying not to prioritize it, but the city has invited us to a conversation about their development of the property they acquired right behind us here. They've stated they want to make it like a assisted living, affordable housing, maybe a public park. Yeah, 30 units, the whole Penzo property. Well, portion of it. So they invited us to be involved in the conversation to just kind of cooperatively plan. They reached out to us about some South Park stuff, and David and I responded. We want to make sure we have a conversation because we can't figure out the land use county. So that conversation will happen, and I hope to report to all of you by the end of the week what the county has given us to consider. Awesome. Oh, yeah.
That's a lot. And that's a lot of cooperation. That would be, that's to be a part of things.
I'm just gonna name that the LED lighting, the HVAC building at VAS systems that we talked about. That'll be a big project for me here in October, trying to get my head wrapped around, be able to articulate with some clarity or how we're gonna tackle those things that gotta be addressed. So just, that's something, just the main facility side, it's not really the lands side of the house, but just the LED lighting by itself, I've got to tackle it. September, October, and I've got to find a solution there.
And for those still listening at home, the electric bus conversation has been killed because Excel backed out of that for the time being, correct?
Yes, Excel is completely back to the electric bus conversation. We are exploring with other people, other alternative fuels again. We'll get back. We've been watching the conversation. We'll keep on tracking it. So I also expect you to bring back some bus stuff next meeting.
And sell this out for good.
As far as we know, yes.
Okay.
Okay, communications, Jen.
We've just been celebrating our district of distinction. It's been really exciting. Trying to push out more to the community. Have people. She's telling me. Do we have one right here? Yes. There. I think there's one downstairs. We feel like to bring it upstairs. But yeah, just continuing to celebrate that piece of our success this year. One thing after post reunification build, we did have some glitches with the app, so kind of continuing to work with the app to make sure we get that solved. There's a couple of specific types of phones that seem to be having some problems, so continuing to just troubleshoot with them, see if we can figure out if it's a phone issue, or if it's like where the problems are. So getting closer. All the time figuring it out.
I've got two others. One, just make sure things already started on the annual report. She's got that, but if you have like, hey, here's some article ideas I think people would like to hear, and then the annual report, can you please get them to Kim so we can start to, so we can get ahead of time, get a better chance of, making it nice. We got a piece of Gracia. It's one of our seniors. She's selected to be one of our interns, and so really enjoying that. And she's looking deep already in some more marketing communications spaces to try and help us. We're going to have projects, so she's telling me how Hey, the community should be learning from all of you guys.
Is the article kind of coming out again before Christmas break?
Yeah, I think that's not on specific dates yet, but yeah, right, that kind of thing. But yeah, we're gonna get a jump start on it and have it ready to go. As soon as they have it forward.
And then the only other question I have, partaking in the beginning, fall activities. Our logos, branding, imagery, whatever you want to call it, consistency seems to be still all over the place.
Well, and we're,
Like, it's kind of like, oh, I thought we were bad last year, now we have 5 more logos.
Booster Club's a great example. They didn't get, like, they did a bunch of design work before they had logos. So if you go to the Booster Club's website, they're still using the traditional start head.
I can show you, I can like create my own.
So we're working on something. But I think now that we have some that kind of goal of being more consistent.
Does the Booster Club have that?
They do, I need to double check that. I know they have access to the logo, but I'll make sure they also have colors or corrections of like we can do. People like to change their.
And then I guess that goes to the uniform ordering conversation too, right? Like that maybe for now, like, no coaches are ordering uniforms.
In theory, all of those things should be approved within our guidelines. I don't
In
even
theory,
find
is the concerning piece.
and I.
I will take care of ordering any uniforms, so.
Just so that, like,
Yeah.
I'll just say that that's in phase 2.
Yes, no, we have the materials now, it's, yeah, this. You know, like this, people are very attached to traditional.
Okay, Jen, anything down?
Not really. It's obviously coming up in December. There was maybe gonna be a board of directors opening for our region. That I was gonna talk to Lisa Webster about, but I would make sure I would actually be on the board before talking to her, just to see if that would be worth the time of someone in our district or not. I feel like not. Oh, wow.
Jody was like ready to join.
I don't know. I was just like, you
It would be interesting, but again, just.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, it always is with Casby and trying to be involved whenever the November elections occur.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's nice to know that we're doing a presentation.
About a different district even.
I thought.
You're not doing any presentations this year, I'm sure I'll do one or two with the Department of Ed. You guys are not on deck for any presentations at the state conference.
Okay, Ben, Jack,
No DAG meeting.
and revive that group, type stuff, gonna try to, that's my goal. And then Kim, any more elections updates?
I think we're just at a place right now. I'm excited because all of my work is done for the election. So we do have our catalog of candidates. They are posted on the website. All of my paperwork has been turned into the county clerks that we work with. So I'm excited about that. Anyone who's interested, all of those candidates are posted on the website. That's all I can know. Election November 4th.
Future business, topics, future meetings, anything in particular? Okay, calendar event, so October 14th. April next time, now let's say jump on agenda review.
Oh, good.
No, you're fine.
Just did it.
Yeah, I did do it.
Jen, real quick. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn here at 7:55.
So moved.
Do. Nice one.
Oh, my goodness.
So goodbye.
And my kids.
She would get elected. So they can't be talking about the more than see every day of those years. That's their state organization is 14. And then